And it appears we have the call back now with Kevin Ovenden for more on the Greek crisis. He is a journalist and writer there who is in Athens as demonstrations are taking place there. Kevin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can indeed.
Okay, so tell me about those demonstrations. You're there in Athens. Where are you at, and what are the messages of those demonstrators?
Well, I'm in Syntagma Square, which is opposite the Vouli, which is the Greek Parliament building. There have been several demonstrations today, beginning at 11 o'clock this morning, which was a strike rally taking place in Athens, and they were taking place across the country because AZEZI, which is the Public Sector Trade Union Confederation, called a one-day general strike across the public sector today, which was also supported by the metro workers and by the rail workers on the national rail. And the demands of that strike and what people are gathering about for and in large numbers and with great anger this evening is in direct opposition to the blackmail, the self-imposition of a further round, the third memorandum, a memorandum of understanding, which means vicious austerity measures on the Greek people, upon the Greek poor. The IMF understands privately, and we know now publicly thanks to a leak, that the impact of these measures will not be to reduce the debt burden upon the Greek economy, but to increase it, because over the next 2 years, these measures will shrink the Greek economy even further. It's already declined over the last 5 years by fully 1/3, which is a level of recession, depression, not seen since the 1930s in Germany and the United States of America. The IMF is saying that when these measures are implemented, it will lead to 200%, debt being 200% of Greek national output in 2 years. So there is a huge swell in the society against the imposition of Merkel's Europe, Angela Merkel's Europe, the Europe of an imperialist diktat, the Europe of capitalism red in tooth and claw. That's what people are fighting against outside the parliament and inside, where there is a gathering revolt amongst Syriza MPs, Syriza being the governing party. It governs in coalition with a smaller party. It is likely in the next hour or so that the bill, which has been demanded of the Greek government by the so-called creditors, will be passed, but with a significant opposition inside the parliament from the left of Syriza and from outside of the parliament inside the society. No one is happy with the deal that was struck by Alexis Tsipras, the Prime Minister, in Brussels on Monday. That's not the issue in Greece. The issue is, shall we have to capitulate to that, or shall we resist? And that's the argument raging inside of Greek society tonight.
And that's what I was going to ask you about, Kevin, was that what we've been hearing about, a possibility of a number of votes against these reforms within the parliament. How large is that revolt, and what would be the implications of a large revolt within the ruling party?
Well, the revolt was standing at around 30 earlier this afternoon. The parliament began sitting at 2 o'clock, and it's been growing since. It's not possible until the vote is called to know exactly what that scale of opposition will be. The government will be able to pass the measures almost certainly tonight, because the old defeated parties which it defeated at the election in January, have pledged to support the package, unsurprisingly, because they are in favour of the austerity measures. So the impact will not be directly to stop the measures this evening, unless there is an absolutely incredible level of revolt amongst the 149 Syriza MPs. But what it will do is it will deprive the government of its governing majority. And that will then open the question as to whether Alexis Tsipras will have to then formally rely with a new coalition upon the old defeated parties, or whether he'll try and hang on despite the split within his own rank, the split which may lead to an organisation split. Who knows? But one thing's for sure, as people were telling me who were on strike this morning, municipal workers, rail workers and so on, they made a very simple point to the rulers of Europe. You may think that when something passes in the parliament, that it becomes a fact inside of the Greek society. That is not true. Look at the last 5 years. One bill after another has been passed, yet the society resists and doesn't accept them over pensions, over privatization, and so on. So we're heading to a very, very turbulent period, not just inside of Greek society and inside of the Greek nation state, but across the 28 nation states which make up the European Union. Because one thing this has done in Europe has been to rip away the mask of civilization of what the European Union stands for, is supposed to stand for, and it's revealed the face of the Camorra or a mafia.
All right, Kevin Ovenda, that's where we have to leave it for now. We're out of time, but thanks once again for joining us from Athens.